Question 1. Can you give me a simple explanation for how UV products cure? Well, the simplest way to do this is to describe and explain the 4 stages of UV curing. Now, this information applies to all artificial nails, to include UV gel manicures, and it even applies to 2-part monomer, liquid, and polymer powder systems. So I'll explain to you how that is as we go along. But first, we'll be focusing, of course, on UV gels. Now, the first thing you need to know is that curing reactions in general happen very quickly at first, but then they slow down dramatically toward the end of the curing cycle. Also, you need to understand that curing and polymerization mean the same thing, and that's this. Each molecule that makes up the reactive ingredients, they begin to link together to form chains which grow longer and longer over time. Now, with that information, let's look at stage 1 of the curing process. In stage 1, this occurs when the product sets or thickens. After about 10 to 15 seconds under a UV nail lamp, about 25 to 30% of the UV reactive molecules in the formula will chemically link together to create very short chains. In these initial stages, the first short chains that form during stage 1 become tangled together, which makes the nail coating product appear much thicker. This short pre-curing is sometimes used to lock in a smile line so the edge doesn't become blurred, or when a clear or a pink UV gel is added to the nail plate. This is pretty easy to understand if you can envision many long hairs becoming tangled to form a hard knot. Now, it's important to note this UV gel is only about 1/3 cured at this stage. Stage 2 occurs when the UV gel becomes at least 50% cured. Nail technicians can easily tell when this happens. When 50% of the UV reactive molecules have linked together, this causes the UV gel to become so thick that its surface will be hard enough that it can be filed. Now, this is also important to understand that at this stage, the UV gel is only half cured. Hardening of a UV gel does not mean that it's properly cured. This is one of the most important misconceptions in the nail industry, and it fools even manufacturers who don't understand the science behind the curing process. What is proper cure? Proper cure is supposed to occur during stage 3 of the curing process. During stage 3, if proper cure is achieved, then the UV gel is cured enough that the nail coating has the strength and durability that it needs to perform in the way that it was intended and designed to perform. You cannot see or feel when proper curing occurs. This is why it's so important to follow manufacturer's directions, which will help to ensure a proper cure. Proper curing occurs typically when about 90% of the UV gel has cured, or the 90% cure point. In other words, when about 90% of the UV reactive ingredients are chemically joined together into a strong net-like structure, this is when you've achieved proper cure. Now, it's a myth that UV gels cure to 100%. No way. UV gels never 100% cure, nor is this necessary in achieving a proper cure. 100% cure is not the goal. However, when curing is significantly below 90%, then the coating is undercured. Undercuring leads to surface breakdown, discoloration, or unusual staining of the nail coating. But more importantly, this can cause nail professionals and clients to develop skin allergies to unreacted ingredients trapped in the nail coating, as well as in their dust and their filings. Which is why proper curing is so important to achieve. It's for the protection of the nail technician and the client. Now, stage 4 of the curing process occurs after the client leaves the salon. By now, the curing process has slowed to a crawl, so only about 5 to 7% additional curing happens after the client leaves the salon. And these reactions occur over many days or even weeks. The reason curing slows to a crawl is because once the nail coating has hardened, it becomes very difficult for unreacted ingredients to move around. So they can't find the other ends of a growing polymer chains to join them. This makes it very difficult for them to be able to react and join and become part of the polymer chain. So that's why we can't ever expect 100% cure. Of course, UV energy drives these, UVA energy specifically, drives these chemical reactions. But if we're talking about a two-part monomer liquid and a polymer powder system, the heat of the room or the warmth of the client hands is what drives polymerization. So you can see the 4 stages of curing apply to all types of nail products which cure or polymerize, including adhesives and nail wraps. In fact, the only exceptions to this process are traditional nail polishes, since they harden by evaporation of solvents and they do not cure by polymerization.